Welcome to NEK VT Rocks. And my guest today, again, we're socially distanced, appropriately so, is Kayla Birk. Kayla is the person who organized the very successful demonstration that we had here on Sunday in Newport. How'd you come up with the idea?
Well, I was just looking through Facebook and all the everything being posted, and I just got really upset about everything that's happening and how people are being treated. So I wanted to do this for people that can't really travel to other protests, and because I felt like it needed to be done.
So you just had the idea, but how did you then get it to happen? Because that's a lot of organizing.
Yeah, my mom helped me make it on Facebook, and then I just shared it with my friends, and everybody started sharing it, and a lot of people
And
saw
then
it.
it just spread.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really social marketing the right way. It's incredible. Did you do anything like get permits or ask the police?
Yeah, I did. I emailed Royce first, and then I didn't. He must have been off. So then the chief messaged
Travis,
me, and I
yeah.
called him, and we made sure everything was all okay.
And he was happy with it?
Yep.
That's great. So, how many of your friends showed up?
I can't really see everybody,
Right.
but I know like a handful of people I knew from school and teachers went. So.
I tried to do a sort of rough count, and to my reckoning, there were well over 100 people there.
Yeah.
Is that roughly what you found?
Yeah, I think, it was around 100, and then all the other things I've read, it said around 100.
I guess we all ballpark in the same way. Does your school do much to discuss race and race in America?
I don't think the school really talks about it that much. I mean, sometimes in history classes it gets talked about a little bit, but not as much. My principal did say that they're going to start talking about it a lot more once school can start again, but yeah.
What do you think has made the difference now? Because it's not as though the issue of race and race relations in America is new. I mean, this has been going on for centuries. Why is it now coming to be an activist issue again? Why now?
I think people are just getting really tired of it all happening for so long, and nothing has really changed that much. So I think it's all just starting to get out there, and we want to change.
Yeah. Are you from here originally? Clearly I'm not, which is why I'm asking the question.
I was born in New Hampshire, but I've been around here since I was little.
And do you have family who are here?
Yep.
Who were here before you came? I know you brought them with you, but
yes.
So your family really has a long track record of living way up north.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that's sort of fascinated me, and you may or may not have read this, but there was an issue about Martin Luther King Day in Newport, because the city does not recognize it, doesn't celebrate it. And given that it's considered a national holiday and has been now for a long time, it's a little curious that Newport doesn't. It's not considered a holiday. Your school does, and so do the rest of the schools. None of the stores do, and it's supposed to be a day of service, and the city itself doesn't. And this has come up repeatedly at city council meetings.
Yeah.
And, we really seem to be at that tipping point. So where are you going to go next with this, now that you've put yourself in the position of being a cheerleader, a ringleader is wonderful, an activist?
Yeah. I honestly don't really know what I'm going to do next, but I know that I am going to do something next. I just haven't really been able to think it through.
Yeah. It's interesting. There have been a lot of posts about this, which is, I presume you cruise Facebook. There was one on Newport Vermont Rocks, which sort of showed the success. It was one of the articles. And then somebody posted underneath that she'd missed this particular action and when was the next one.
Yes, I heard about that.
Good. So clearly there's interest. Do your friends talk with those who are not so sure about which side to be on?
The few friends that I do have, they are all with me and don't really like being with people that don't really like others that are different.
Mm-hmm.
So because I don't really want to be mixed in with that, but yeah.
What do you do when you say to somebody Black Lives Matter and their response is all lives matter? How are you handling that with them?
Well, yeah, all lives do matter, but right now everything is going on with the Black Lives Matter, and they need to be the center right now because they need to be helped first, and then everybody else can be helped after we fix this, because if all lives matter but Black lives don't matter, then all lives don't matter.
That's exactly right, and that's a great answer. Yeah, and I really hope that people hear that. I mean, this will go out on Channel 17, and it will also be a YouTube video. And that's the argument that I keep hearing over and over, and there doesn't seem to be a way to make a dent in it.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I've heard people use the analogy of if one house is burning and everybody says all houses are at risk, do you say, well, don't put that fire out, spray everything else? It makes no sense whatsoever.
Right.
But I hear people who I think of as intelligent, caring, responsible people somehow not getting that bit, just not being able to grasp the inequality. And the other argument that I've heard up here, and this is why I asked you where you were from, is because people whose families came from Quebec over the border and who grew up being told they couldn't speak French or felt discriminated and were discriminated against, that somehow they think that's equal with what is happening now. And it's really hard to say to somebody, your experience is different, it wasn't okay, but it's different from what's happening now.
Right, yeah.
Have you been caught up in that one?
No, I haven't, but yeah, it is different things that have happened to different people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you have I'm sort of asking you this when you haven't had time to think it through, but do you have a sense of how you would say deal with people who say, my family really got picked on for being from Quebec? I know about discrimination.
Well, I'd probably say, it was horrible what happened to you and what has happened. But other things and different things have happened to the color community. So it's different how it happened, and both are not right.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. And I think because we're such a white world up here, that sometimes it's really hard to see the systemic racism. I used to live in Philadelphia, which is a city that is in fact more than 60% minorities, which makes them the majority as far as I can see, but it's still referred to as a minority. And that has blown apart with racial incidents repeatedly, because somehow nothing has changed. But it's harder to see that up here.
Yeah.
Did you hear, as we were all walking the other day, did you hear any of the people who were shouting obscenities and other less than nice things?
Yeah. Yeah, there was few people yelling out of their cars, saying, that white lives matter too, or other people are getting hurt and some other things.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I mean, at least none of them stopped and did anything horrible.
Yeah.
And the other good thing was nobody who was walking with you engaged with them, because it's so tempting to shout back.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they're off and running. But how is your group? Because you, as an activist leader here, are going to be forming a group whether you know it or not. How is your group going to handle some of that?
Well, I think we all are going to stay peaceful, obviously, and just try to get the word out that, it's not about being negative and all of that, but we're trying to help the color community feel safe.
Yes. How about feeling equal as well as safe?
Yeah, safe and equal. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I wonder if there's a way in which your group, because I'm assuming there are people of color in your school, how safe would they feel to get involved with you guys as a team, as a partnership?
I'd hope that they'd feel safe to join our group. I mean, none of us are going to go against any of them, so.
Yeah, it would be really nice to see leadership as well from minority communities. Not just the black community, but there's other communities up here too. Although I've already seen some action from the queer community, bisexual, transgender, lesbian, gay, whichever alphabet soup letters everybody chooses to use right now. That's a community that somehow has found a way through, has found a voice.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious about how that has evolved as opposed to the same way through for communities of color.
Yeah, well, they definitely did go through a hard time trying to get where they are today and still go through a hard time also.
Right, but the fight for communities of color has been a lot longer, decades, centuries. Yeah. Do you know what Juneteenth is? Is that's not something that's been part of the education up here?
No, I don't.
Juneteenth is the day that is recognized by a lot of the black community, African American community, for their day of the abolition of slavery, freedom. And it's celebrated in some cities. It was a big deal in Philadelphia when I lived there. But I've sort of been surprised that I haven't heard much of it in other cities. And I saw an article yesterday in the paper that I nearly sent you, and I thought, nah, let's just deal with it cold. That is that President Trump, and I say that gritting my teeth, I'm not supposed to be biased here, but clearly I am. President Trump has decided to hold a rally in Tulsa, in Oklahoma, on that day. Tulsa in 1921 was the scene of a massacre of a highly functional black community. That sort of politics setting, waving a red flag, really setting up the potential for a fight.
Yeah.
When you look at the potential for violence here, and we're pretty peaceful up here, but that's not what's happening in the other cities. I mean, what are your thoughts on that and the rest of your group?
Well, if it's kind of obvious that something is going to happen that's a little violent, we'll try not to go towards that. We'll try to keep it all peaceful.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think about political leadership, either actively stirring the pot or not taking a position? And I haven't heard much. Our city manager actually was at your march the other day.
Yeah, I saw that.
And got her photograph taken, which is good. But I didn't see many of the others there. One of the city council members was there, but I didn't see the others. Would you like the city to take a position?
It would be nice to see that they are with us and that they do want to get it better. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Do you have an idea of how to get them to do that?
Not really, no. Yeah.
I have a suggestion, which is email them all individually. Their emails are on the city's website. Email them and ask them to take a position. And there is a city council meeting on Monday. There's one every other Monday, well, the first and third Mondays. And there's a comments part at the beginning. Unfortunately, the meetings are currently on an equivalent of Zoom. It's not the same as being in person. But you could make a comment and ask for the city to take a position, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It'd certainly be something for you to consider and see if some of your friends would do the same thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So when I gather that the schools are opening up in September, though I have to admit, when I listened to the governor yesterday, I thought, I have no idea how that's going to happen. That sounded pretty wild.
Yeah.
Did you listen to it?
No, but I have read a few things of what might be going on for schools to open back up.
Let me take your temperature before you get on the school bus routine.
Yeah.
That's certainly going to be interesting, as is having all of your lessons behind masks and with your teachers behind masks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But hey, it has to be better than what we're doing right now, which is everybody's sitting home.
Mm-hmm.
In September, do you think there's a way that your group and you can really do some organizing?
Yeah, I think so. Especially when schools are opening back up, there's also things that could go on during school that we could organize, and maybe get some more school members to join. So
yeah. You have sisters, right?
Yeah.
How many?
2.
Are they involved?
Yes, my 2 younger sisters went to the protest the other day.
Good.
Yep.
What did they think?
They thought, there was a lot of people, and they're very supportive also. They helped me make posters and helped me with all of it, so, yeah.
Are they going to move forward with this with you?
I'm sure, yeah. I have a younger sister that might not be able to go to everything, but my other sister, she will most likely probably.
Great.
Yeah.
How old's the younger sister?
She is almost 7. Yeah.
That is a lot younger.
Yeah. And then my other sister is going to be 13 soon. So.
Yeah. So at least they're getting some activist training early.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of yourself as an activist before?
Not really, no.
Do you think of yourself as one now?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. You're going into your senior year, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll be going on to college.
Right now I'm thinking of I'm going to be going to the police academy.
Wow.
The police academy, yeah. Yeah.
Now that's a surprise.
Yeah. Since I was little, I wanted to be a police officer. And first I was thinking of doing something in the science area.
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to be a police officer now, and I'll be a good police officer and go through everything and do everything right and nothing that should not happen.
Really cool.
Yeah.
So when you see the signs that call for the defunding of the police, what do you think about that?
Not every cop is a bad cop, but there are some bad cops.
Right.
I'm just hoping that it will all get better and they can be trained more, because right now they don't really get trained as much as they should.
I was shocked when I found how little training the police up here get.
Yes.
And in some ways that's worked to their advantage because it's meant they're not as militaristic as they are in some of the other cities. Mm-hmm. But it's also really unfair to expect young people, they're mostly young, to be able to handle some of the situations they're thrown into.
Yeah.
And it's also pretty crazy that we expect the police to be able to be the answer to everything. So if somebody has a mental health issue, and instead of sending out people with mental health experience, you send a couple of cops.
Yeah.
Seems pretty unfair.
Yeah.
So, what made you want to be a police person?
My grandfather. Yeah.
He was a cop?
Yeah. He was for a little bit, and then he always used to tell me stuff about it, and he helped me through it.
Yeah. Which academy do you want to go to?
I'm looking through things right now. I'm not quite sure which one yet, but I am looking through everything to figure it out.
Yeah. Can you pick a geographic area, or is it like applying to college? I have no clue, obviously.
If you want to be a police officer, it's just the police academy. You go through training, tests, and all that stuff. But if you would go to college, then you would pick a subject or area to do that. Yeah.
So I think there are quite a few who have degrees in criminology or criminal justice. No such thing as criminal justice, but. So you could go that way or go straight to academy?
Yeah.
And you're picking the academy route?
Yeah.
Why? Just out of curiosity.
I think, I don't know, I kind of just want to get right into it and start it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of us who are trench people who forget all the baloney at the side. Let's get in. Let's get stuck in, as they say where I come from. Yeah. Do you think you'll be involved in policing up here or somewhere else?
I think it's going to be somewhere else. Yeah, I think I do want to leave here and go somewhere else.
Any idea where?
Not really. I don't want to go too far away. When a few years ago, I was thinking about like California or something like that.
Yeah, well, the weather's really good there.
Yeah, but I don't want to go. I think right now I don't want to go too far away. Maybe a few hours, but.
Yeah, so that could be anywhere down the East Coast or
Yeah.
slightly west, or actually east, 2 hours. It's choices. Yeah. Are your family supportive? Are you doing that as a career path?
Yeah. Yeah. My parents are proud of me for the paths that I'm choosing.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And it's nice that you know that. And your family were obviously really supportive of your organizing a demonstration.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you tell Travis Bingham, by the way, that you want to be in the police?
I haven't said that, no.
You should let him know. 'Cause maybe you could do an internship there as well.
Yeah, maybe.
And it would be really great to have somebody who has an interest in community policing being in the community. They used to have a program here. I don't know if they still do. I'm trying to remember what it was called. Name like Excalibur, but I don't think that was it.
Yeah, I think it was Explorers or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they still have that going on.
That seemed a little different, because that's sort of, from the little bit that I knew about it, was sort of riding the border in some of the patrol cars. But
Yeah.
ho-hum, that's cops and robbers. And that. Do you know where Camden is in New Jersey? It's a really tough city that is right by Philadelphia. And they had a massive problem between the residents of the city and the police. I mean, the crime rate was sky high. It was forever blowing up. Big issues there. And apparently in 2012, they got rid of their police force. That doesn't mean they got rid of all of the police, but they got rid of the police force in the system that they had, because they decided that the problem was the system
Yeah.
less than the individuals. So they completely revamped it, and it's made a massive difference. I was actually really interested when I read about it, because it shows that if you make a systemic change, then the good people who went into a profession because they truly wanted to be of service and help, and the motto is serve and protect,
Yeah.
which is clearly not what we see happening.
No.
But the good ones were able to stay and do that and work within a community, as opposed to oppressing communities, which is what we see in a lot of areas now. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
If you could be part of that change, and you're obviously going in with all the right values.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool if I could make that change. Yeah.
It really would. And this would be a really good town to, quote, do an experiment with that, because we've just had a sea change in leadership in the police department here. The police who are still here are community members mostly, and it would be a really wonderful time to have a switch towards more community support and involvement, as opposed to military training. And when I look at the arsenals that some police departments are building up, and that's what you have in Iraq. You don't need in little old Newport.
Right. Yeah.
At least I would hope not. It'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Be a great project to suggest to the police.
Yeah.
For your next activist project, here I am organising you to organise them.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Do any of your friends have an interest in being in the police?
I don't think so. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're really charting this one on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do your sisters have an interest? Or are they just going to watch you?
I think my little sister is kind of saying that she wants to be because I want to be, but yeah.
It's really cool. We are running out of time. I, of course, forgot to turn on the timer at the beginning because I get talking and then I think, oh, I forgot to do it. So I'm sort of ballparking. We may actually have gone a little bit over, but hopefully not, but that's okay if we did. I'm really glad that you were willing to do this, and even more glad that you actually organized the protest that you organized. It went beautifully, and I really hope that you and your friends are willing and able to do it again. You are the future. It's my generation, unfortunately, that has made this mess. And you guys have to fix it. I realize that's a lot of responsibility, but it's your world.
Yeah.
And it's really worth it. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.